I'm just saying, give me an armor-plated rhino, a flatbed full of fireworks, and an American flag, and I will run the world inside a week. Welcome to the Beer, the Brain, and the Brawn. I am the brawn of the episode. My name is Stuart Purcell, alongside the brains, Zach Mayer. Zach, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic.
Once again, the beard is absent, out doing beardly things. I can only imagine carefully grooming his wonderful, luscious facial hair, probably mixing in some beard oils that smell like freshly sawn lumber. Zach, what are your thoughts?
You know, he's a big pirate fan, so I really think he's going on this whole let's go be a pirate. So I'm pretty sure he's probably out looking for a boat to take to sea and start pillaging some other boats. Yar matey. All right, guys, we're going to talk about Destiny the Taken King.
Did we not talk about that last week?
Well, I think we said that it was coming out, but we actually didn't dive into it.
We'll dive away.
All right, well, the Taken King will be coming out this fall. Bringing along some new storylines, a new raid, and a bunch of new weapons and armor, new classes. So we'll kind of dive into each one of those. Subclasses, yeah. We'll dive into each one of those. I guess we can talk about the subclasses first. The Warlock now has this awesome new arc subclass, which he can now shoot out crazy amounts of lightning.
It's called the Stormcaller, I believe. And you basically turn into Emperor Palpatine, which once again, I like to say screw you, Zach, for your Warlock, because you have all the cool toys. And not only do you have one of the most badass supers in the game, but you also have the ability to, your melee has range on it. Titan melee doesn't have range. The Hunter melee does not have range. But once again, the Warlock melee has range, proving my point for like the umpteenth time that Bungie loves Warlocks.
Well, isn't it true that the Hunter has range? You have kind of range. You throw hammers at people. The Titans throw hammers at people.
That's the super, not the melee.
Oh, wait. So my melee is the lightning?
Yeah. Well, okay. So in the game,
please explain.
In the game, your melee right now, for instance, your the Void subclass, you produce this little shockwave, that little punch slap thing that y'all do, because I don't... Anyway, it has a range to it. You can be not a huge range, but you don't actually have to be like right up next to someone to do that, and it affects them. Whereas the Hunter, their little knife, and the Titan punch, you have to be up against someone in their face for it to work. So my point is, your melee has a slight range. Again, with this one, the melee for the new subclasses, it also has range. And again, the Titan and the Hunter does not. So, Bungie, bunch of Warlock fans, I'm not happy. Anyway.
All right, so let's talk about your Titan class, the Sunbreaker.
Which is, okay, I'm going to stop it right there. That name is stupid. Is it a cool name? Yeah. It'd be an awesome name if it wasn't already the name of an armor piece for your damn subclass. Get some... They have all the armor pieces and the stories and guns, and everything has a backstory and a cool name, and it's awesome. I'm a huge fan. I am a self-identified Bungie fanboy. But really? You guys couldn't think up of a different name for a subclass? You're just going to repeat and act like, oh, no, they're totally different. No, they're not. It's the same damn name.
Yeah, but it is kind of cool. Sunbreaker, you're shattering suns with your hammer.
Again, it would be awesome if it wasn't already taken.
Whatever.
Call it like the solar... I don't know.
I don't even use the Sunbreaker. I'm a Void Walker.
No one does, but it doesn't matter. It still exists.
Though I might be a Stormcaller now.
Okay, but would you get pissed off if, say, your super for your subclass was called Ruin Wings, and it's also the name of my armor piece? It's annoying. The one thing that they repeat, I don't know. It just bugs me. So, proceed.
All right. What about the Hunter class, the Night Stalker?
Well, we didn't really go into what the
Oh, the
subclass does. I was just bitching about the name.
I'm sorry. You actually know more about these subclasses than I do.
Yeah. So Stormcaller obviously arc damage, which is something that you guys have been lacking. The Titan has been lacking a solar subclass, which is what the Sunbreaker changed the name is. The super basically consist of you summon a big frickin' flaming hammer. I said frickin', not something else, Zach, so you don't have to edit that out later. And you can do a couple things with it. During your super, Zach, you basically glide around and shoot lightning out of your hands.
I can fly.
Yeah, go to hell. Whereas the Titan, you can do a couple things you can change, kind of how you approach it. You can either throw the hammer, which is kind of the standard thing, and it does create a very small area of effect damage. So that's kind of your primary super attack. However, you can also do a couple other things. You can melee while you're holding it, or you can, for lack of a better term, shoulder charge people while holding it. So I will give them that it's interesting that so far it seems like your supers all kind of have a one use thing. So for instance, the smash, the Fist of Havoc, all you do is smash. That's it. Now, the way you can approach it is different. I mean, you can jump, you can leap, you can do the death from above where you dive down, but it's the smash. Your Ward of Dawn, you produce a bubble. That's the only thing you can do. And I mean, you guys have the same thing, but regardless, you can only do one thing with your super. Whereas the Sunbreaker, and I could be wrong, but everything I've watched on it, it's almost like your super is a timed thing, and within that time, or until your energy runs out, you can do multiple things with the hammer, which I am a fan of. Again, I mean, I love it. It's awesome, except for the name. So that I found interesting. You can do multiple things with your ability.
Cool. All right. Now the Hunter is called the Night Stalker because they are missing the Void subclass.
They were.
You want to go about that?
Yes. So basically, they have their Void ability is to basically summon a Void bow, for lack of a better. I mean, it's a bow and arrow
called a Shadow Shot.
Yes, but it is produced by Void Light, and what that does is you can fire multiple arrows. I don't know what the maximum number is. And no one's really specified that I've seen. Excuse me, but you can fire it either into the middle of a group of enemies or directly at an enemy, and it will cause a decent amount of damage. It won't kill them. I mean, it may kill like some basic level BS.
It won't kill anybody. Like if you are in a PvP match,
yes.
It won't kill anybody, even if it's a direct hit on somebody.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh.
If you get a direct hit with the bow, do you think that might kill someone? And then it just
they haven't specified.
Okay. Just clarify.
I've never seen it in a video that I've watched. Having said that, that's not to say it doesn't happen. But what you can, if you hit a target, or you put it in the middle of a bunch of targets, your shot, basically it creates multiple, because it can do multiple tethers. It basically will hold multiple enemies down, slowing everything they do down a dramatic amount, as well as doing damage to them and disabling anything that they have. So, for instance, let's say Bauman is a Night Stalker. You and I are our respective subclasses. He turns a corner, and we're both there going after him. He can fire an arrow. Actually, can fire multiple. So let's say he puts one dead center between us. We are then both slowed dramatically, and we take decent damage. We can't activate our supers while we're tethered, and moving is, again, dramatically slowed. He can then fire again directly at you, hitting you square in the face. You will receive more damage than if it's an indirect hit. And again, you are slowed, and it will chain over to me. So now we're being hit twice. That's, from what I've seen, that's what I have gathered from that. That I would say that is probably the least explained of the supers so far. I mean, your guys' super is pretty straightforward. You shoot lightning, people die. Ours, we can do a couple things with them, but I mean, hammer, hit people, they die. Whereas the bow, there's several nuances to it that they really haven't delved into fully yet. So Like, we don't know how much damage it does. We don't know if we can kill someone outright. We don't know if the damage stacks with multiple arrows. So they have yet to really fully explain what it can do.
All right, so it sounds good. So those are the classes. I'm going to kind of dive into what Destiny the Taken King actually is, kind of the story behind it. It's about orcs. Is that how you say his name? Is it? I can't. Orcs? Oryx, that's it. He's the Taken King, and basically he's hell-bent on vengeance and, is raising a whole bunch of army called the Taken, mostly because of his son, which is on the tip of my tongue. Why can't I think? Crota, yes, is his son. And so now he's basically going out and wants to destroy everybody.
So from what I've gotten so far, from the various vid docs and stuff like that, Orcs is considered a god amongst the Hive, millions of years old. And basically, at a certain point, he created Crota, his son, and was like, all right, I'm kind of done. I'm going to go do my thing, travel around, see what I can do, actually enter like an alternate universe, dimension, what have you, and left Crota to kind of handle this one. Obviously, Crota's in, we go in, we kill Crota. Homeboy hears about it, not happy. Here's the interesting part. The way he creates the Taken is he, from his own dimension, or wherever he's from, he will pull people out of ours, pull them into his dimension, change them somehow, and reinsert them back in. So, for instance, we learned that's why the Cabal, there's some suspicion that they were running from something. They weren't an invading army, they were just running. That's what they've been running from, because they're the most effective basic military force. So he's been primarily going after them. So what'll happen is, let's say you and I are fighting an army of, or a group of Cabal. During the middle of it, all of a sudden you'll see this black cloud kind of form, and 2 or 3 of their guys will literally get pulled into it, and they'll disappear. They will then there'll be a pause. Then they get spat back out, except now they're basically shadow their former selves. They have no will, and actually the interesting thing in this vid doc, they went into the animations behind these things. Across the board, no matter what they were before, while they're fighting, you'll see them kind of twitch, and it looks like they have a tick, and that's, obviously it doesn't fully, but it indicates that they really don't have their own free will. They may very well have a mind of their own still, and they don't want to do what they're doing, but they can't. They're being forced to do what have you.
Right.
So in addition to their physical appearance being changed, they also have different abilities. They do different things now, in addition to their standard attack. So it takes everything and all the enemies you've been fighting, makes them much more effective.
Okay, so, and we're going to a new place. We're actually going to the Taken King ship, the Dreadnought, which is supposedly impenetrable, but somehow we're going to, the Guardians are going to be able to get onto that ship and take them down from the inside.
We badasses.
So, basically we're up against, the Taken King plus his Dark Army. So that's interesting. But like I said, there's going to be new locations to explore, definitely new enemies to fight, new story campaign quests, new strikes, new Crucible maps, a new raid that Destiny says will put players to the ultimate test. Players will have access to 3. Okay, so we already talked about the devastating subclasses, a massive arsenal of weapons, armor, and gear. Let's see. Just trying to go through some of the topics, seeing what we've covered and what we haven't covered. But basically, if you don't have any of the Destiny games, you're kind of new to this, but it sounds interesting. You can buy the Legendary Collector's Edition, where it will provide Destiny, the Taken King, plus the 2 other expansions that came out this year. Kind of going off that, there's been a lot of discussion from the fanboys of Destiny that this collector's edition isn't fair, because, Bungie released saying, we're going to have this collection that's going to cost $80. Is that correct? Or is it? Yeah, $80. It's going to have, like I said, Destiny, Expansion 1, Expansion 2, plus the Taken King, all for $80. It's going to have armor, shaders, a whole bunch of other exclusive things. And, people who have been involved with Destiny, me, Stu, and Bauman, we've been all there pretty much from day one. I think Bauman was like week 2 or something like that. But me and Stu have been here for week 1, and we don't want to pay $80 for content that we already have just to get exclusive content. I mean, the game itself was going to cost $40.
The Taken King expansion is $40.
The Taken King expansion is $40.
So the reason, other than if even beyond the exclusive content argument, where we say, we as players who have had this game since, like you said, day one. I mean, I got it the day it came out. We, the new folks who, nothing against them, they get stuff that is being arbitrarily withheld from us because they're joining now. And me personally, it's small stuff I really don't care about, but for some people who are really into like collecting stuff like that, I can see where there would be some frustrations. You shouldn't be rewarded for, you don't reward people who join late. You should be rewarding your loyal fans who have been, supporting your product since day one, because they're the ones who are much more likely to continue to buy it in the future. You should probably, it's the carrot and the stick idea. So that's the number, I guess the exclusive argument. The other issue that people are having is, like I said, the expansion itself is $40,
which I think it's really high priced. The first 2 expansions were $20 a piece, roughly, or $35 if you bought both of them. I would be fine paying $30.
Mm-hmm. I agree,
because now I've already invested $100, $95 into the game. Now I have to do another $40. And I really don't get anything other than the content, the new expansion. Yeah. I don't get any of the new DLCs or anything like that. Yeah. I just get the quests, the raid. And
that goes to the other argument that you and I both, have put in $95. We're going to drop another $40 for this expansion. If it total ends up being $40, we're at $135. New folks come in, pay $60, get all that we get, plus...
Is it 60 or 80? I'm really confused.
Who gives a damn? Let's say they pay $80. Okay. They're still getting all that we've got, plus stuff that we don't have, even though we've spent an extra $55 compared to what they've spent. So, again, we're spending more money. We've been... This is going to sound very cliche, but we've been the more loyal fan base in that we've been, playing again since week 1. And yet, through all that, we're still the ones who don't get everything. And then there was an interview that I agree was kind of blown out of proportion. But so their proposed fix to this was that, the week 1 folks, who again, now we've spent $135. If you include the new expansion, you can get all the exclusive stuff that the other people have, the new ones, for just $20. So now we spent $155, and we've got everything that the people who spent $80 have. So they spent half the money we have. And they have everything. Everything across the board is the same. And
at least they actually provided that we could actually get that content.
But again,
beforehand they weren't. It was just, you only got this if you got the collector's edition, which came with everything.
You're right. They didn't kick us in the balls. They punched us in the face. I feel so much better.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I think that $40 is way too much money, especially when we don't get that collector's. I think $40 and we get that collector's edition stuff, that's a fair price.
Yeah, you want to charge us $30 for the expansion, $10 for all the exclusive stuff? Fine. I mean, I'm still not happy about it, but I'll take it. But when you're saying people are going to be paying half the price that we paid, and we're going to be the same level, and then they're like, oh, but you guys will get some free stuff too. Like, you guys will be able to turn your armor, really black, and you'll have a black, vehicle and a new. Well, let's
talk about
3 little things are not exactly going to even that playing field,
right? And we have been hard on Bungie right now because that has been since E3. That has been the perceptive of the people that Bungie is not looking at the players who have been there day one. So yesterday, June 24th, Bungie did part 1 of a 2-part weekly update to kind of make some clarifications. They did say that, for those who already have Destiny and don't want to buy the collector's edition, you can go out, spend $20 and get all the DLC. Not really worth it, I don't think. They haven't given us everything that is contained in the Taken King collector's edition, or they have.
They haven't told us everything about.
Well, let's just talk about the collector's edition. They have told us everything about the collector's edition.
To my knowledge, yes.
Okay, so I'm kind of seeing 3 class-specific emotes, armor shaders, 3 armor shaders, and 3 exotic class items with XP is what I'm seeing on Bungie's update. But they've also now addressed what people who have been there from day one have gotten. They haven't given everything. We're waiting, hopefully, maybe during this podcast, they'll actually update it. We can give you breaking news. But currently, right now, they are giving you Black Shader. They're giving you a Black Sparrow. And then, what is the other one? The banner. Those are just what they're telling us right now. I think they're trying to scramble and trying to figure out what they can give to us. I think we're also getting new gear. Either the the bracelets, armband, the cloak of the hunter, and the little whatever you have sash of the Titan. But they're going to tell us more about it, what they're going to give us today. I think they're going to give us more, and I think they're trying to make the day one people happy. Do not be negative. I want you to be positive.
I'm not being negative.
Last episode was an angry episode. This time it's happy. So we are done with being negative because that's what they've done the last 2 days. We're still waiting on the next
like this is
update.
A yoga class.
I know. We're waiting on the next update, which, like I said, hopefully will be very soon so that we can discuss it. But I think they're going to give us armor. I think they're going to give us weapons. I think they're going to give us specific things that only day one people, or year one people, I guess, will have. And they said, I've been here day one. What do I get? They specify who gets this, and it says if you already have a light level of 30, or if you've picked up and played both the Dark Below and the House of Wolves, then you're a VIP in the Tower's book. And they'll award you accordingly, and permanently exclusive set of items, which they haven't gone through everything, like I said. So let's wait and see what comes out. So you may speak now.
Since apparently I'm being negative,
let's start calling you Nancy.
So I will give them that at least they are taking steps to address it. I think they need to take a little bit bigger steps. But I will give them that they're working on it, and that's good. I do appreciate that. Call me a little hard to appease, but turning my character a little darker shade of black, giving me a black.
But you have been wanting this. I have heard that everyone has been wanting this black shader that makes you all black, and I feel like you guys are asking for it. They're giving it to the people who have been with Destiny from day one, and then you're just like, all they're giving me is a shader.
No. I'm pumped. Believe me. That's the first thing I'm doing.
You sound pumped.
I am super pumped. Now, the first thing I'm doing is switching that color. having said that, again, $135.
What do you want them to give you? We're not talking about the Taken King. We're talking currently about what they are giving you as day one people. Don't talk about how much money you spent, because you've already spent the money.
No,
and that was your choice.
Actually, we haven't. Number one, but no, that is the point. That's the entire reason why they're having to appease all these day one people, is because we have spent so much money. That's the entire root of the problem.
So they're doing it.
Yeah, I agree.
You don't seem happy about it.
But what I'm saying is that extra $55, in a lot of people's opinion, should buy us a hell of a lot more than just changing our armor color once.
Then you will, from what I've read, you will still get that armor if you don't buy the Taken King. It's all it says to get it is that you have to have either a current level 31 light level character or have played both of the last two expansions.
Okay, then my counter argument is, so we spent $95, and
what do you want them to give you? What do you want them to give you since you've been there for a year?
I would say...
And don't say to give it to you for free, because they're not going to.
No, I'm
giving you the Taken King for free.
No. That's not, I completely agree we need to pay. I would say, if you want to give us multiple colors, multiple vehicles, multiple options. I'm not a creative director. I can't tell them, what's going to make everyone happy. My only assertion is, this is a good start. I just feel like we're going to need a little bit more than that.
But I'm tired. I'm tired of all the shaders. I found like 3 that are actually really cool. There's hundreds, well, not hundreds, but tens of them. There's probably about 50 different shaders you can get. Mm-hmm. And,
then give us some...
They have every color that you could possibly ask for.
Give day one people exclusive, different looking armor. Somehow.
I think that's what they're doing. I think we are going to get exclusive things.
And when they drop that, I will be pleased as punch. All right. Haven't yet.
Well, since we're still waiting on update number 2 to tell us what that feature is, I think we should put this on the back burner. So, anything else you want to talk about the Taken King, or this update?
I'm pretty well.
All right, so we're going to move on. If I am keeping track of what people are saying on Twitter, I'm trying to see if any of the Destiny news comes out and when it comes out. So if it does come out by the time before we're done with the show, we'll kind of talk about it. If not, we'll have to push that to next week's show. But the next thing is the rumor about Avengers Infinity War Parts 1 and 2. Coming from IO9, it seems like there was an alleged casting call for the film with a brief plot description for the first film. Basically, it said that the film is in the first of 2-part sequel in which Thanos plays a major role along with Magus. Adam Warlock's bad side, Magus, separates from his body and assembles the Infinity Gauntlet. Magus creates doppelgangers of Earth's heroes as part of a plan to recreate a universe of evil.
Yeah, but they also said take that with a grain of salt at the end of that.
Yeah, but I mean, it's something interesting. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see this. It's one of the bad parts about, I guess, these Avengers movies is that if we are going based on the fact that it says creates doppelgangers of Earth's heroes as part of a plan to recreate the universe of evil, I'm kind of over the Avengers facing themselves before they get to the main boss.
The whole infighting thing's annoying.
I mean, if these are different like quote unquote different beings, but they are the same people. It's the same.
That whole the introspection, what makes me who I am, what makes us who we are. I get that it was, why you had to do it the first movie. I accepted it in the second movie, I swear to God. And we have to go through the whole, we're a team, but we're not a team because we don't get along, but just kidding, we're a team, we're going to come back together and save the day thing again. I got old. It gets really old.
I mean, honestly, it's these days I'm more interested in between the Avengers movies than I'm actually interested in the Avengers movies, because I feel like we're just we're having the same storyline, just with different bad guys.
Now, having said that, I think that there are certain characters who for instance, I liked that we got to know a lot more about Hawkeye.
I hated that. I mean, not that I don't like Hawkeye. He's not my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
But
I despise Hawkeye. Let's be honest.
I do, and this really makes it feel like I really hate him. Watching the Avengers movie, that had no point. There was no
sure it did.
There was no point to that the whole area. I've read reviews that said, yeah, we don't really know why they did it. Probably just to give him more, on-screen time and try to flesh out some of the characters who didn't get fleshed out in Avengers 1, which is fine, except it had nothing to do with the storyline at all. We just, let's pop up in this random hole and, I have kids. Like I said, I'm not a Hawkeye fan, and, I can understand if you all think that just because I'm not a Hawkeye fan, I just didn't like this scene. I would have been fine with it if it made sense to the plot, but it didn't.
I don't know. Again, they fleshed out the character, and I liked that part. B, it was kind of, you saw that, not a different side of S.H.I.E.L.D., but you saw that they were doing things that were good, because obviously, S.H.I.E.L.D. fell apart in the second Captain America movie. But you saw, obviously they're the good agents. But going back to the primary reason, Jeremy Renner was pissed after the first Avengers movie. I'm not sure if you heard about this, because they didn't flesh out his character at all, and it was the same with Black Widow. So I think this was them kind of atoning for that and putting something into them. I mean, because in the first Avengers movie, did you necessarily care? I mean, I know that we're both, you more than me, we're comic book guys, and we know the history, but if you had just watched the movie, what did you know about Hawkeye? You knew he was good with a bow and arrow, he could see really well, and he worked for S.H.I.E.L.D. What did you know about Black Widow? She can fight, and that was it.
My counter argument to Black Widow, I would agree with Hawkeye, but my counter argument to Black Widow was she was in Iron Man 2. So her identity was kind of revealed as she's as a double agent for
she's a spy,
S.H.I.E.L.D.
but
that's all you don't. She doesn't have much of a backstory. You kind of saw it in the last Avengers: Age of Ultron movie with her being in a ballet, and she was she's a tortured soul and things like that.
That was interesting to know because I didn't know that.
But I don't think it was necessary. I think we know who she is by not having to dive into her background. I don't think Jeremy. No, actually, I was saying Jeremy. Jeremy Renner's character is Hawkeye. I don't think we really need to know he had a family, or at least we didn't need to know that he had a secret family and he had kids. And Black Widow is kind of like the aunt figure to these kids.
Well, but you got to see. I found that interesting because for a long time, and actually several review articles had mentioned about whether or not. What the deal between those two characters were, because in the first movie, it's like, are they friends? Are they more than friends? What's the deal here? And you see Scarlett Johansson's character, Black Widow, kind of using her feminine wiles on Steve Rogers, on Bruce Banner. So people were a little confused, and hell, even in Captain America 2, Black Widow had a necklace with a arrow on it. So everyone's like, oh, maybe they're boyfriend, girlfriend, blah, blah, blah. And now A, more about them individually, but B, you also know a lot more about the fact that it's much more of a brother-sister. I mean, like you said, Black Widow is basically the aunt to his kids.
Which is great, and I think I would have rather have seen he could have still had a wife. That's fine. He could have still had kids. That's fine. I don't think we needed to go to the middle of nowhere with the entire Avengers team to his house to figure out that he had a secret family. I would have been more interested to know more of his relationship with Black Widow and how I don't really think we got the relationship between the two. We know that they said that she's like the aunt to him and things like that, but the history of how they got to, like, how they knew each other.
Mm-hmm. He kind of explained that he was sent to kill her and decided not to.
Yeah, but I would have liked to see that flashback. Well, I think maybe we could have not had this whole big home scene, and this long home scene, and just taken that part out and throw in the friendly relationship between Black Widow and Hawkeye.
My counter to that is,
you have so many counters. Can you just agree with me for once?
I do. I agree with you on a lot. I agree it was a little long. Does that help?
Way too long.
But no, my counter argument to that is that they were just in the movie. Scarlet Witch got into their heads. Again, they were doing that whole introspective, who am I, what am I doing here, blah, blah, blah thing. So after that, I mean, just from a plot standpoint, there has to be a downtime where they kind of collectively figure out what they want to do, correct?
Mm-hmm.
What setting would you have preferred? They can't stay at Stark or the Avengers Tower because it's screwed up. They can't really go anywhere else because it doesn't make sense. So this, A, provided them a setting to regroup. B, while they're regrouping, we could learn more about two characters who don't get their own standalone movies.
But I know, and for the Black Widow and Hawkeye fans, I think Black Widow, she's had her time. She's been, she was in Iron Man 2, Avengers, Captain America 2, and then Avengers Age of Ultron. So she's been in plenty. We got to know her a little bit, by the conversations we've had. Honestly, I kind of wish they didn't even include Hawkeye in the Avengers, only because they're not using him in other things. They're just specifically using him in...
Well, he was supposed to have... He had a cameo in Thor, but he was supposed to have a cameo in Captain America: Winter Soldier. It's actually a really good cameo, and I'm kind of sad they cut it. When I read it, did you read about that at all?
I didn't, but that's kind of my point. It's like, they tried to put his backstory into Avengers: Age of Ultron, but I think they did a poor job of implementing it.
Well, but I could make the argument that I'm trying to think. As far as Nick Fury, did we see Nick Fury? I mean, we saw him. He had a fairly major role in the Winter Soldier. I will give you that one.
Here's the thing: we don't need to know anything about Nick Fury.
So why do we need to know more about Hawkeye?
We don't. That's actually, you're kind of going back to my point. We didn't need his little go to his house thing. We didn't need it. I think that could have been left out.
Yeah, but you just said that they don't need. Didn't you just make the point that they didn't need to have Hawkeye in the Avengers because they're not really utilizing him? But because they
correct. They're not using him. But Samuel Jackson is a different character because he's the head of S.H.I.E.L.D. He's the one who put this team together. Yeah, we don't need to know his backstory because he is the master of lies. We don't know what he says is true or what is false.
But at the end of the day, I mean, Hawkeye, during the course of the movie, and the overarching plot and the whole thing, obviously Nick Fury is more important.
And currently, right now, everyone's supposed to think he's dead. He's not supposed to be a main character anymore. He's supposed to be getting out of the business.
Yeah. But during the actual movie itself, Hawkeye is a member of the team. I mean, he does a lot more than Samuel L. Jackson. So if your argument is that we don't need to see Hawkeye because he doesn't do a whole lot, well, if that holds true, then we sure as hell don't need to see Nick Fury.
I'm saying that there are so many characters, and you have, an overreaching star power behind these movies, and I think Hawkeye gets left out. I truly do, and I think, and I'm not saying because he shouldn't be in the movie. I'm saying it's because I feel like they didn't need him to be there. They're just kind of making him a side role, which is fine, but we can't keep giving these side characters who aren't going to have their own movie or going to be in any other movie. Can't give them these long, try to figure out who he is.
They're going to be in the new Captain America. I know it hasn't happened yet.
It hasn't happened yet, and maybe they'll cut him out again. But it's the point that if he's needed, he's more than happy to be in it. But let's not dive into his history, especially in a movie where we don't. At this point, we don't care. If this might have been in another one, in Captain America, Winter Soldier, or, in some other movie. I don't really know where else they could put it because currently maybe Iron Man or something like that. But I think having that big, long background story of one character in a movie about 6+ characters was a little too much. So
was it really that much? I'm genuinely asking because I don't remember.
It just seemed like that scene where we're just at his house and everything was just so long, and we were there forever. And I thought it was not necessary. Let's move on because we could keep talking about this, but we were really just talking about Avengers: Infinity Wars and not even about Hawkeye at all.
True.
So other than that, those are just rumors. We'll kind of run through these last couple things quickly. We always have 2 topics that we like to talk about, and then just run through some of our last miscellaneous things.
You realize this is, how we had joked that we were going to make up for Bauman's beard, blah, 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 all that stuff. I think we're making up for his long-windedness because the past 2 times that you and I have been here, we have just talked and ran our damn mouths.
Well, I know that.
Which is usually...
When you're not here... We were done way quicker. With just me and Bauman.
You're calling me a loudmouth.
Well, kinda. I mean, here's the thing. Me and you disagree on things, which is great. I think it's great for the audience to hear 2 different kinds of perspectives. Me and Bauman kind of agree on a lot of things.
It's true.
We don't really kind of get into these tiffs, which is fine.
It's because
too.
I can't grow facial hair. You guys agree because you can.
Probably. So it's nice having these kind of different dialogues within a podcast. Having the side who doesn't agree, and then having the 2 people who agree and things like that. It makes for really good podcasting. So I definitely think we're not we're definitely have a lot of personality in this podcast, which I think makes the podcast great. So we're going to talk about Green Lantern. There's rumors that it looks like there could be 2 Green Lanterns in the next Green Lantern movie. I didn't really hate the movie, the first one. With Ryan Reynolds, I thought he was a good Green Lantern. I think the movie itself probably was just poorly executed. But yeah, we're going to get 2 Green Lanterns. There's rumors that we could get more Earth Green Lanterns, I guess I should say, human ones. So it looks like we're going to go over with Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart. 2 good ones, so I'm looking forward to that. Any thoughts?
Not really.
Okay, we'll move on.
Yeah.
The CW also announced that the Arrow and Flash premiere dates. Flash will be on October 3rd. It will stay on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. and Arrow will start back up October 7th.
Wait. I got it. My thought. Sorry. Continue.
Let me finish this. Will be Wednesdays as normal at 8 p.m. as well. So what is your thought about the Green Lantern?
I was wondering what Jon Stewart was going to do after the Daily Show ended, but I guess now I know.
Okay, except that Jon Stewart is black, but it's comic books because they've just been changing everyone's
He pulled a
race.
Rachel Dolezal. He is identifying as black now.
DC and Marvel both have just been changing the race of people. So whatever.
It's true.
Whatever. I guess we'll see. Maybe it will be some weird person. I don't even want to go there. Last up on our topic section is that Batman, the new Arkham Knight game, is being pulled from PC. Like online stores, they kind of stopped doing that because of performance issues. Everything, from what I've read, every review they've been giving giving it really good reviews. Even IGN gave it a 9.2, but for some reason the PC performance is just not going well, so they're stopping the sales of that.
It's never a good thing when they can say, well, when it worked, it was really good.
Well,
the first few words of that sentence pretty much defeat the whole entire purpose of the damn review. It's like, so when it didn't break, it was awesome.
This is just PC sales. So if you're playing this on the Xbox One or the PS4 or a console of your choice that is being played on, it works perfect.
So it would seem like the PCs are not the master race.
I know. If Bauman was here, he would be really disappointed. I support both the PC master race and the console pass.
Bauman.
Master. Yeah.
Seems you are not the one, right? I don't know. I got nothing. I was going to say something, but
I thought you were going Dr. Evil there for a second. Like
that was not Dr. Evil.
Okay. I thought you were going to pet your bald cat or something.
Oh, no. I hate cats.
I'm Dr. Evil and I got a plan.
What the hell is that? Is not Dr. Evil.
See, I'm not really good with impressions. I got Batman. That's about it.
Batman. All right, speaking of Batman, did you hear... this kind of goes along with the Batman.
Oh, yeah. We forgot to add this to the topics.
I know.
Hot topics.
You're welcome. So apparently there's rumor going around that in 2018 there will be a movie called, and I quote, The Batman. I know, that was a tough one. Supposedly going to be obviously starred in by Ben Affleck, but also directed by Ben Affleck. It's supposed to be a standalone Batman movie. I'm kind of curious what the plot will be. But yeah, 2018, so it's after Batman vs. Superman. I'm not as familiar with the DC movie schedule as I am the Marvel, so I'm not sure if anything's going to come out between Batman vs. Superman and The Batman.
Wonder Woman, I believe.
Yeah. When's Aquaman come out? That's what I want to know.
I don't know.
I want to see Jason Momoa just whooping.
You
folks.
keep talking, and I will.
I'll look it up. Do some research, damn it. But yeah, so he is going to direct as well as star in, and Affleck is a Oscar nominee as a director. I don't know if Argo won. I don't believe it did. And I don't know if he's certainly been an Oscar nominee as an actor. I'm not sure if he's a winner. I could be completely off. But so I mean that's going to be interesting. Obviously, I'm interested in how he will go about approaching the Batman storyline. We've had any number of people take on Batman. You've had director-wise, you've had Tim Burton. Who did the Val Kilmer ones / the George Clooney? None of them were good, so I really didn't. It wasn't Bryan Singer, was it?
No,
Bryan.
I don't think so.
Okay, whoever did the Val Kilmer and George Clooney ones, no one cares because those sucked. And obviously Christopher Nolan. So it'll be interesting to see his take. Obviously, Christopher Nolan is kind of a serious director. He does serious, dramatic movies as well, and so does Ben Affleck. So I'm curious to see someone who isn't necessarily a comic book, sci-fi fantasy director, and how they approach the Batman storyline.
So I found out, I have the timeline. The Batman isn't listed on here, but we have 2016, we have Batman vs. Superman, then we have Suicide Squad, which Batman is supposed to be making an appearance in there, along with the new Joker. 2007, that looks like those are the two movies next year. 2017, we're going to have Wonder Woman, along with the Justice League. 2018, we have The Flash and Aquaman. 2019, we have Shazam and Justice League 2.
Yeah, who's in Shazam?
Yeah.
Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Then we have in
You're
2020,
not a Rock fan, are you?
and I like him more than Vin Diesel.
How do you hate Vin Diesel? He's Groot.
I don't like how they talk.
What do you mean how they talk?
And they just kind of just walk like... Whoa.
Yeah, it's called having muscle. It decreases your flexibility.
Maybe they should have less muscle. And then Green Lantern is supposed to come out in 2020. I'm just kidding, but like I said, they're not my favorite people in the world.
You're basically a muscle trader right now.
But it's not like I would say they're the worst people in the world. I mean, you have really bad people out there, so they're not the worst. They're just not the best.
Vin Diesel's a huge nerd.
Yeah.
How can you not like him?
He's just not my favorite. Sorry.
I didn't say he's your favorite, but you don't like him.
I'm not going to go out of my way to see his movies. Either one of them. I'm not going to go out of my way. I mean, obviously, if they're superhero related, I'm going to have to because, that's kind of my job. But as far as going out to see any of the other ones, not really go out of my way. Like, The Rock is on a new HBO show.
Ballers?
Yeah.
I still need to watch that.
I might watch the first episode, but I'm not really going to go out of my way to continue with my HBO Now subscription, now that Game of Thrones is over, to continue watching it. So...
Disappointed.
That's that. I'm going to start a new thing that we do every week. It's going to be the pick of the week. And actually, I have two picks of this week. The first one is Injustice, the comic. It's based off the video game. We are in year 4, so if you haven't read years 1 through 3, you definitely need to. It's a really good comic. If you've played the video game, it's just the 4 years prior to the start of the video game. So it's really interesting story. We get to see a whole bunch of DC characters kind of combining. It's Batman versus Superman, and it's been like 4 years now. So it's really good. And my second pick, do you have a comments on that?
No, I'm not a comic book dude.
Okay, and then my second pick is Hearthstone. If you haven't played Hearthstone, you should. It's a card game that you can play on your computer, PC.
Question.
Yeah.
We have computers.
Yes.
And we have cards.
Uh-huh.
What is the point of digitally rendering cards being flipped when you can just flip the cards in real life?
Well, then you actually don't have to buy the cards and like have them in your hand and then keep them everywhere with you. I mean, if you just have
you just have to have a computer.
Well, you don't have to have a computer. You can have your phone. You can have your tablet. I personally rather play them on my iPad or my phone rather than actually playing them on the actual computer with a mouse.
That's what pisses me off about, was it Kindle? I forget which one does it, but like it renders like the pages, so when you quote unquote flip the page while reading a book, you see the page turn. What? Read it the real book, or just read it off a screen because you're clearly not reading a book. That doesn't make any sense.
Okay, well,
that's
like I said, those are my two picks. Hearthstone came out with Tavern Brawl. The first Tavern Brawl was awesome. The second one, I've only played one game, and I'm not too terribly impressed, but we can talk about that some other time.
I haven't played either.
So that actually is the end of the podcast today. We talked about a lot. Well, I feel like we didn't talk about a lot, but we did talk a lot.
We talked a lot. We didn't talk about a lot.
But it looks like the Taken King information is not up yet. I bet you that it will be posted at in 2 minutes on the top of the hour.
You want to burn 2 minutes?
Well, we could try. I mean, it's 2 minutes. You got 2 minutes?
Dude, I can talk about anything for 2 minutes.
All right. Well, do you have anything you want to throw out there as a pick of the week? Movies, music, TV shows that you've watched, something that you've done recently?
Kind of.
Okay, go ahead.
Jurassic World is the first movie to ever keep... Is it Pixar? It was Pixar, right?
Yes, Pixar.
It was the first movie to ever keep Pixar from their number one spot.
Mm-hmm.
Every single Pixar movie that's ever debuted has been number one on their debut weekend. And Jurassic World is the first movie to ever keep a Pixar film off number one.
And here's the amazing thing about that. First off, it was Jurassic Park's second weekend. They weren't going head to head.
Yeah.
The other...
which I still haven't seen, which is kind of...
Jurassic World?
Yeah, I'm seeing it, Saturday? How many days that is?
I really want to go see it. But I think one of the coolest things, or well, not coolest things, one of the strangest things is that, yes, it was the second week, but Pixar, the Inside Out movie, did great for opening weekend. It still made $92 million, which is really high. It exceeded expectations. And yet, even exceeding the expectations, still couldn't compete with the $100 million or $108 million. It was, it was within $10 to $15 million from the Pixar movie.
It just shows you what happens when you have a franchise that, when it first came out, everyone loved. I mean, Jurassic Park, and then The Lost World was pretty good. A lot of people went to see it, and the third one was there. And then there was a lull. I think that was the smartest thing that they did, because then, their years go by, and it's been, I think, almost a decade since 3 came out.
Yeah.
So, people kind of forget about it, and then you bring back Jurassic World, and it's been just long enough to where the nostalgia kicks in, and nostalgia will cause people to spend a lot of money they wouldn't normally. Look at Star Wars. I guarantee you Star Wars makes, I believe the technical term is, a shit ton of money.
I mean, yeah, it's gonna do amazing. It's probably gonna be the best movie of the year, and that doesn't come out even until December.
Yeah.
One of the big things I think also isn't just the fact that it was Jurassic World. I think because Chris Pratt
also
was...
Talk about a dude who went from, not necessarily unknown, but little-known TV star to, holy damn, his name is gold
Guardians
right now.
of the Galaxy shot him over the moon.
Yep.
And I think it's because of this. I think it's because of him that movie actually got more fan base, because everyone likes him.
That dude can write his own checks now.
Oh yeah, and
in 2 movies,
it's really good, and I think that's what pushes it. The problem, we're going to go see Star Wars and everything. I could probably guarantee you the movies probably won't be as great if they didn't push the original cast coming back into it. I think because I think we need to know people
nostalgia.
who are going to be in the movie other than the unknown.
Mm-hmm. It's nostalgia, and hell, even the new trilogy, 1, 2, and 3, you had Yoda in there. I mean,
and Palpatine.
But
because he was the original Palpatine.
Yeah, but the characters, quote unquote, were the same, but they were different actors. So what's your connective tissue there? Yoda. Oh, everyone remembers Yoda from the original trilogy. Oh, look, it's Yoda again. Sweet. Now you have not just the name, quote-unquote, recognition and connection between the original trilogy and the new ones. Now you have a physical, that guy looks like the same guy who was in the original trilogy, 30, 40 years ago. Now I know where I am, who I'm dealing with, what's going on. So the fact that the one coming out in December would have had no one from the originals, maybe R2 and C-3PO, but it was brilliant on J.J. Abrams' part to bring back damn near all of the original cast, because now you, A, know who these people are, because they're the same, not only characters, but same actors. B, you can relate to them because you know how they're going to react to things, you know what they're thinking. And C, because you're so willing to believe this new world, because they're in there, you're much more willing to learn about the new people, to accept the new people as being them. I mean, can you imagine if they had tried to recast someone to be Han?
Oh, it would have been a total nightmare.
Yeah, everyone's like, that's not Han. That's not Harrison Ford. That's not Han. But because it is Harrison Ford playing Han, then everything's, oh, yeah, that's totally his daughter. Well, why? Because he says it is. And if someone else had been Han saying, that's my daughter, no, it's not. No, it's not. You're not Han.
You're not Han.
Exactly.
So
brilliant on their part.
Very good. Yep.
Again, nostalgia.
All right. Well, like I said, I've been trying to refresh that Bungie's page for the past, 5 minutes and nothing new. So I guess we're just gonna have to wrap it up for today. So, thank you guys for listening. Thank you for supporting our podcast. If you do not subscribe, please subscribe to our podcast on Apple iTunes. You can find us there, Beard Brain Brawn. You can also find us at adigitalfix.com. If you have any comments, questions, things that you want us to talk about, anything interesting, you can email us at adigitalfix.com or at gmail.com. And for anything else, just keep on listening, guys. We really like your support.
Don't drink your bath water. That's the tip of the day.